welcome to American Beer TV.
IPA Day.
Happy IPA
Woohoo!
Day. Yes.
So, IPA Day is really cool, but not quite enough for us. So we wanted to kind of really talk about double IPA.
Double
Day.
IPAs.
So there's two of us, so we got to do double, right?
We got a bunch of beers. We're not necessarily going to drink all these, but we want to talk about.
We'll just be fucking.
We're on the West Coast, so these are all the big West Coast IPAs
Serious.
that everyone loves and adores here.
Mm-hmm. And we just so happen to start it off with, we had Kenny here just tapped a keg of Stone Ruination 10th anniversary right here.
So we got a nice big glass of that. So
cheers. So we'll be sipping on this while we talk about double IPAs. So amazing.
That beer's awesome.
So dank, so resiny, malty sweetness. Just
so what I want to do to kick off the show is I want to read, or we're going to have Bill read because he's a better reader than me. The Great American Beer Festival judging guidelines to what is a double IPA, or what they call it's an Imperial India Pale Ale.
Right.
So what does it say?
So what that says basically is that Imperial or double India Pale Ales have intense hop bitterness, flavor, and aroma. Alcohol content is medium high to high and noticeably evident. So being able to detect a beer if it's hot, that's okay, good.
I think they start a double IPA at, it's either 8 or 8.5 and up.
They state 7.5 to 10.5% is considered an Imperial or double IPA.
Oh, okay.
So
that was a little bit higher than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They range from deep golden to medium copper in color. Yes, indeed. Style may use any variety of hops. Although the hop character is intense, it's balanced with complex alcohol flavors, moderate to high fruity esters, and medium to high malt character. And these do have a lot of malt character to them as well. The hop character should be fresh and lively and should not be harsh in quality. The use of large amounts of hops may cause a degree of appropriate hop haze. Hop haze, there we go. We got some haziness in there. Yeah. Imperial or double India Pale Ales have medium high to full body. Diacetyl should not be perceived. The intention of this style of beer is to exhibit the fresh and bright characters of hops. Oxidative character and aged character should not be present because this is all about fresh hops.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you hold on to any one of these beers for really over 6 months, you're really doing the beer an injustice.
You're turning into a barley wine at that point, basically.
Yeah, well, you start getting, because the beer is so hoppy anyways, you start to lose some of the aroma characteristics, and you start getting that kind of oxidized characteristics from the hops too. Even more so than you would a barley wine, or even so that you would from an Imperial Stout or something like that, or even like an American Strong Ale, or even like an Imperial Red or something that's not quite as hoppy as a double IPA. The malt characteristics will kind of meld with the hop characteristics and create kind of a new flavor.
Right.
Whereas a double IPA, you just start losing that hop characteristics, and then it just starts, the beer just starts
because the
falling
beer
apart.
really isn't designed to be aged at all.
Right.
All these beers, I mean, Stone Ruination right here, enjoy fresh. You know, it says right on the bottle.
Yeah.
And when so much of the aspect of the beer is based on hop quality, when that starts to fall out, you're really going to be left with a very unbalanced beer. So really, we love aging beers. We've got beers that we've been aging for a year or two back there. IPAs and double IPAs are not among them. So we do not necessarily want to do that. So yeah, so this is Epic Brewing Company, their Imperial IPA. One of the really cool things Epic does is they put this number right here. This is
number 18.
Release 18 of this batch.
And this is the newest batch. This was top.
Actually, they have 19.
Oh, 19.
They do have a 19.
I didn't see that. Okay.
But with this one, when you go onto their website and you look up their Exponential series, you can actually enter in which batch it is. It tells you some tasting notes and the recipes and everything they did. So this was brewed on March 27th, 2012, and packaged on April 25th, 2012. Okay. Yeah, let's crack that one open. This is basically a really basic grain bill of two-row and like carapils.
3 months old.
Yeah.
So
it's not too bad.
Yeah, see, so this one compared to the Stone.
Ruination.
And it's got the haze.
Yep, and
it's quite a bit
I'm
lighter.
getting yeasty chunks. This is definitely bottle fermented.
Yeah.
I'm getting some yeasty chunks, but it's a
really
lot lighter.
pillowy head.
Mm-hmm. One of the things, like I said, really basic malt bill on this. Some two-row and carapils, and then although as for a double IPA you would expect, they get a little more in depth in the hops. They have Columbus, Simcoe, and Centennial in the boil. They finished it with Columbus for aromatic hops. Put it in the last few minutes of the boil, and then they used a hop back technique using Centennial, and then to dry hop it they used Amarillo and Columbus in the dry hop for a total of 8.5% ABV. So
Okay. Yeah, let's check it out.
let's give this a taste. Cheers.
Wow. Big difference from the Stone.
Yeah, actually, I'm tasting a bit of alcohol on here, but I'm also getting a lot of still really good fresh green hops. The malt is really mellow, and it's there. It's got a little bit of malt sweetness, but it's really kind of a bready, kind of biscuity.
Yeah, compared to the Stone, this one isn't quite as sweet. That Stone is just
Mm-hmm.
big and...
Yeah, it's huge. Well, that's the way Stone is. Yeah, and that's why we love them.
This is really nice, though.
It's a
This
bit
is
more
very
complex.
drinkable. Yeah, it is.
Well, I don't want to say that the Ruination isn't complex. The Ruination has so much going on. It's at first it's like, boom, in your face, just like boom. But then you really have to look for it to get past that assault, that initial assault to do it. This one's
really
a little
nice,
mellow.
actually, because the malt is so light.
Yeah.
That you don't get those caramely flavors.
Mm-hmm.
That you are tasting.
It's really a showcase for the hops.
Real showcase for the hops.
Very nice, crisp, clean. That's what we kind of want to do. Is we kind of want to show a couple different styles of double IPA, because and show and really change it up a little bit. So show what you can, what West Coast brewers right now are doing with the double IPA. So
yeah, Coronado's doing like a real pungent IPA.
yeah,
Green Flash again is that real pungent hoppy. These two, I find these two to be a little more similar to each other. They've got that real dank, kind of along the lines of the Stone too. This Epic isn't that real dank.
No.
It's really nice.
yeah, it is.
But it isn't that real dank, resiny kind of.
no, and we should mention that this is also the furthest east beer that we have here today.
Yeah, from Utah.
So from Utah, the rest of them are all from California. So
And then the end of the spectrum
yeah,
is Dos Cones, which is from Cis-Montaigne.
right.
And Cis-Montaigne does... This is a true double IPA because they take their Coulter IPA and it is a double version. So that one's 7.1% or something like that. This is 14.2%. They used double the amount of malt. They used, I think they said they actually used triple the amount.
Yeah,
of
I
hops
think
or
because
something like
you get the law of diminishing returns. If you double it up, you're not going to get double the ABV.
that. And then the unique thing with the Dos Cones is they actually put oak staves in the bright tank.
right. So this is kind of
So
that's
it's
kind of a
oak
barrel aged oak.
Yeah.
And we did a video on that. We sat here and we talked with Evan,
Evan
the
from
head
the-
brewer. So if
yeah.
you're interested in that one, go back and check that out. We also did one for the Stone Ruination. So if you're wondering why we're not opening those two, because they do look really epic beers, we've already done those ones. But yeah, I think there is a wide variety of flavors that are going on in the double IPA, and it's interesting because a lot of the people that I talk to that even they don't like IPAs,
They do like the doubles.
double IPAs because they have this nice caramely sweetness up front. So the first thing that they taste, a lot of times if you get an IPA, the first thing that you taste is boom, hops.
Yeah.
Just smack you right in the mouth. And then people get a little afraid of that. With a double IPA, what you taste normally is the malt sweetness. And then the hops come in and the hops can linger. And now people can start to even people who are not hop heads, if you will, can appreciate that the hops have that drying effect and make you want to keep drinking it.
Yeah.
Because they might not like that hop flavor and they
Yeah, and then when you get into the the thinner or lower alcohol, should I say, IPAs or pale ales, you almost get a more bittering effect.
You do.
There's nothing to back it up.
It's not balanced. It's funny. IPAs are traditionally out of balance.
Let's open this one.
Yeah, we're gonna open up Lagunitas. I gotta polish this.
Now Lagunitas. Now this is on the verge. This is 8%, so this is kind of bordering. They make Maximus too. They make some other double IPAs.
Right.
But Hop Stupid is just so freaking hoppy.
I have to say, this is probably one of the first double IPAs that I had.
Okay. I love Hop Stupid.
Yeah.
I've had
this
beer
is kind of a
quite
great
a
old standby. You know, if you're at a place and...
So this beer, let me get so this beer is pretty bright, poured out of the bottle like that. And almost the same color as the Ruination.
Ruination's a little darker, or just maybe, pretty close.
Different.
Pretty darn close.
Pretty close. So...
And this is 103 IBUs.
Now, this beer has that dank...
102 IBUs.
Pungent.
Right. That's one of the reasons why we wanted to do this one on there, because this one, I think, Green Flash and Coronado both have some resiny aspects to them, but not like the Lagunitas,
Yeah,
and Hop Stupid is just...
Yeah, it is Hop Stupid.
It is.
Alcohol and IBUs.
Alcohol, yeah. We're just talking about, how... So, the higher the ABV of the beer, that means the yeast ate more sugars. So, you'd expect it to be... If you had two beers, one's 8.5 and one's 10.8, 10.8, you would kind of expect the 10.8 to be a little less sweet. But that means they had to start off with so much more malt in order to ensure that they got to the level that they wanted to get to, because yeasts are kind of unpredictable little yeasty beasties. They don't really deal with it, because the problem is they need to make sure all of these breweries, and here's the challenge of it. I know a few of us are home brewers, and we might be able to make an awesome double IPA. The question is, can you do it again? And then can you do it again? And again, and again, and again? That's the difficult part of this, is to be able to do it, because yeasts are so unpredictable. How are you going to do it? So this Hop Stupid, I tell you what, has had the same profile every time I've gone back to it.
Oh, yeah.
And Ruination, I don't know how many batches they made of this to get it to where it's at, but just absolutely awesome. That's kind of what's cool thing about doing the one-off batches with Ruination and like that, the Ruination 10th anniversary, is they don't really have to worry about consistency unless they decide to go ahead and, if they decide to make this a year-round beer, which we'd be very thankful for, Stone, just by the way. If you want to make this a year-round beer, we'll love you for it.
We'll drink it.
Like the Hop Stupid
this is where
and Epic,
Epic is. That's why they do the numbered series.
Right. So you get
change little nuances in the beer.
Yeah, that's one of the interesting things about it, is if you put the release date on there and you put the batch information online and you talk about it, you know what? Even the beer geekiest of us might say, if we bought a batch of Imperial IPA and it was, I don't know, batch 7, whatever, and it tasted one way, and then we tasted batch 18 and it's a little different, and if we were able to go on and look at their release information and see why that is, and to see how they're tweaking in, I think that extra information of what they're doing, why they're doing it, what their tasting notes is, why this one it might be a little different, I think that extra information from the brewery we might be willing to overlook a little inconsistencies in the,
or there could be inconsistencies on purpose, which it kind of seems like, and from their point of view, they're playing with their beer, which they should be.
Right, and I think that's
they're
really
a craft brewery. You should play with your beer. You should make it inconsistent. But then it goes back to, because they've set it up that way, they have the ability to play with it. But like you're saying, Hop Stupid, if Hop Stupid was different every time, you'd be like, this wasn't a good batch.
Right.
And I've got the same thing too, like being in the restaurant industry. Like there's, we do a lot of local breweries, and different batches will come out different. And they're like, it wasn't as good as last batch. But if if the brewer said, okay, this is, batch number 5, then those guys would be like, oh, batch number 3 was better than batch number 5 because of this or whatever.
And
so
you explain
it
what
kind
it
of goes
doing.
back and forth. So they wouldn't dog the beer. They would just say, oh, I liked batch number 5 better than
Right.
batch
Did you
number
try that one?
8
And
or
that's the
whatever.
thing with like homebrewers.
that's awesome.
If we're like homebrewers, even if we do, most of the time, I haven't met very many homebrewers that do the same batch over and over and over again. However, it seems to me.
I've never done that.
Yeah, I know.
I've never.
My dad was
been
always
brewing
like,
for 12 years, and I've never tried to make
bunch
the
of
same
people-
beer twice.
We're finally getting into that. We finally want to try to do that and try to dial it in a little bit. Or you make a glaring mistake in a batch, and you did something horribly wrong in a batch. I've done that several times, but yet the finished product is okay, and it would be really good if not for X, and you know exactly what you did that made X happen, so you do it again. So the thing is, yes, there's a matter of tweaking, and Epic has set it up in a way. Most of these other breweries have had to test batch and pilot batch and test batch and pilot batch till they get it down, and then they brew it on a bigger scale, and and then that's the way they need to go, so that hopefully Green Flash, every time Green Flash puts out this beer, it should taste like the last batch of beer. Thing is, though, and here's something that that works in the defense of the breweries. If I took a bottle of this from 3 months ago, and I put it up against a bottle that was brewed fresh, it's going to taste different, and it should, because it was bottled in the time of aging. Also, if I drank that bottle 3 months ago, and I remember it as what it is, my memory, especially after a couple bottles of these double IPAs, probably not exactly what it should be.
I was drunk when I drank it in
Yeah,
April.
that's the brewer's bottom line defense. Oh, you got done with that? How did it taste? Yeah, you were probably drunk after you're done with that. But the thing is, you can't drink too many of these without just getting totally floored. But
I think the guys at Lagunitas like to smoke weed, because this is just like dank herb again.
I think you could say that a lot of double IPAs.
Taste that.
Yeah.
And then go back and
I just did, and honestly, this brings out the herbaceousness, if you will. Not herbal hops, but like the dank weed herbaceous. It does bring it out. And fuck, we're gonna start something new. We're not, fuck beer and food pairing. We're just gonna do beer and beer pairing.
Yeah.
What flavors does this beer bring out of that beer? And back, dude.
That's a great idea.
Oh man,
we need to.
I do that every night.
Whole new show.
Oh man, that's just kind of crazy.
Yeah, actually, after tasting Hop Stupid, the Ruination actually has like these really nice like subtle qualities, because Hop Stupid is so like pow.
Yeah, it just hammers.
And then you
your
go
taste
back to
buds with that,
Ruination, which is another kick-ass beer.
Yeah, it's amazing because both of these
it has
beers
all these like really nice subtle like spicy nuances. Like
it is spicy. Yeah, after you say that, that's one of the things, because the Lagunitas Hop Stupid focuses, in my opinion, even in the nose there's that great mango citrus, but in the flavor it's just this uber dank weed flavor, which is really cool. We're really enjoying that. And then here, for something completely different, we'll go back to the Epic. Dude,
we're doing this for you guys.
Yeah, the Epic now smells like a Belgian.
Yeah, well, Epic has.
Well, this is also bottle fermented. Yeah,
but I've noticed with Epic though, Epic has like a really unique yeast strain.
Yeah, they do.
That is like. It seems
Stick
like
your nose in it.
Yeah,
it smells like a Belgian, doesn't it?
But Epic has like this really delicate yeast strain, which has it finds all these really nice little subtle flavors that come out of the beer, versus like Stone and Lagunitas have these like kick-ass yeast strains. I mean, Stone and Lagunitas both make really strong.
Yeah,
beers.
they do. They're both renowned for that.
Like Harry Eyeball and Brown Sugar, and all those are way above 10%. So,
well, hell. Stone started the strong ale category with Arrogant Bastard. Yeah, this tastes almost now. This tastes almost like a Belgian Golden Ale.
It has like this light fruitiness.
Yeah.
Yeah, after going back and forth with these other guys. But that's cool. But that
It is.
But that is hop characteristic.
Right.
That fruitiness, because you can see that this beer is really light.
Right.
Some of that may come.
Yeah,
through with
definitely
the yeast,
compared
but
to this. Yeah, very. You know, this is definitely orange, and this is definitely, you know,
like
yellow.
Yeah.
Like a pale yellow.
Straw color. Yeah.
We're getting tons of yeasty beasties. You know,
yeah, it's
in here. This is definitely a bottle fermented
got
beer.
a big yeast cake in the bottom of that.
Yeah, dude. That'd be nice to use again. But you know what? Honestly, though, homebrewers, if you brew a beer above, there's a threshold. If you brew about a beer above 9%, I think it is, might be even less than that. You don't really want to reuse that yeast because that yeast will have been spent, and if you try to reuse that yeast over time, you're going to get worse, bad off flavors. So it's much better to try to brew an IPA. Let's say you brew a 5% IPA. Okay, you brew that, then you take that yeast cake from that 5% IPA, and then you use that, as long as it's a healthy, high attenuating yeast strain, for your double IPA. I mean, White Labs California Ale yeast would be perfect for that. Something like that. Use that for your double IPA, and you've got such an amazing yeast cake. You got to plan your brewing days. But that's the way to go. Always go low to high. Don't try to go high to low. So, wow. This has been an amazing experiment in double IPAs. And we didn't even get, we only opened 3. Technically, this counts as opening 3. We opened half of them, but I don't think we want to open the rest of them. We'll just get wasted.
Yeah, I really like going back to this one.
I think that's really cool.
The real big bombers.
Yeah.
Because this does have tons of hop characteristics.
It does.
They're just so different from these other like pungent.
The beautiful thing about hops is you have herbal notes, you have spicy notes, you have fruit notes, and you have this dank resiny notes. So you have at least 4, and beer community, you know, ping us on others. I think there's 4 major food groups, if you will, of hop flavor profiles. You know, yeah, like I said, and so really to see them all on display in such varying different degrees and what different people craft, that's the beauty of craft beer, because it's really taking similar ingredients and crafting something that's different and unique in and of itself. That's the nature of it. So
cool, man. Let's cheers to the
Happy IPA Day.
That's right.
We call it double because I'm celebrating it, you're celebrating it. It's got to be a double IPA day.
It has to be.
Cheers.
Get out there and drink some craft beer, IPA style.
Woohoo! I'm getting a little inebriated.
I'm like, what do I talk about anymore? Like, I think we've covered everything. Wait a minute, what haven't we covered?
I'll just keep fucking randomly bullshitting about stuff.
This is a good ranting video.
Yes.
Let's finish this. Okay. Chunky chunkies.
Yeah, dude.
This is good to go back to that.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. Talked about fucking beer and beer tasting.
We're gonna have a beer on beer tasting. Hey, the Ruth family was in last night. We were talking about. They went to.